there have been questions in the last 24 hours about the Gardaí response, as well as about whether or not the Gardaí have enough people, enough members there and trained and able to deal with the situation should it happen again.
Peter, you were in Dublin yesterday. In terms of the feeling in the streets there, what was it like?
Yeah, what more fearful as the day went on, or as the afternoon went on, Ruth, following the attack, and then as it developed into early evening, people were shocked and scared. The number of people that I've been in talking to in the last 24 hours and monitoring as well on social media, the number of just ordinary, simple citizens, regardless of nationality, who live or work in Dublin, who were afraid to go into Dublin city centre today. There are a number of shops that have remained closed or opened late. Today, the public transport system has been severely impacted as well. Right through today, it had been indicated early this morning that it would be back to normal. It wasn't, and there are a lot of people. If you look at the centre of Dublin this afternoon, you'll see it's not what you would expect a European capital to be on a Friday afternoon. Ironically, on Black Friday for all of us, what's now being termed Black Thursday for Dublin.
Yeah, and in terms of, you talked there about public transport. I mean, I saw the one of the darts, which is the kind of the rapid transport. I don't know, is it light rail, a tram? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, the
people were
Lewis,
setting that on fire. And people were setting that on fire. I saw video footage of a lot of looting. So the Foot Locker got raided, Arnott's got raided. So sort of around Parnell Street, Parnell Square, O'Connell Street, like big shopping areas. It was literally, just by the end of it, looked like an absolute rammy. It didn't look like a political protest. It looked like a bunch of predominantly young white men on a rampage.
And I think that was Drew Harris's point, in that, the initial protests may have been from some people who, picked up what they thought on social media was an allegation that the person responsible for the stabbing yesterday may not have been Irish and may have been a foreign national. But then that grew through the day. He talked there about the thimbleful of facts turning into a bathtub of assumptions. Through the day, then you just had young people who, it looks like, don't believe in any particular ideological cause, but you just took the opportunity. And that's where Gary Gannon is right to say the centre of Dublin over the last few months, there's been lots of debate here in Ireland about what exactly is being done to protect the safety of citizens on places like O'Connell Street and around that area, around towards Parnell Square. On weekday nights, weekday evenings, there have been lots of attacks, and there have been robberies, there have been muggings, there have been stabbings there as well. And that is an area which is definitely going down in terms of our public safety. Interestingly, you had Gary Gannon on the station earlier. In the last few minutes, Ruth, we've had the Sinn Féin leader, Mary Lou McDonald, who's echoed some of those comments, and she's gone as far as it's becoming less of a criminal issue now, if you like, in these 24 hours, and more of a political issue. She's expressed no confidence at all in Drew Harris, the Garda Commissioner, who we heard from a few minutes ago, and in Helen McEntee, who's the Justice Minister here in the Republic of Ireland. And she's saying that both of those people should resign their position. There have been questions in the last 24 hours about the Gardaí response, as well as about whether or not the Gardaí have enough people, enough members there and trained and able to deal with the situation should it happen again. Drew Harris's defence this morning in his press conference was that actually, no one could have expected a stabbing at 1:30 yesterday to turn into the widespread riots that we saw last night. That the Gardaí did as well as they could. They have been praised for the actual efforts of all of the officers on the ground. But there is a question to say, do they have enough resources? Do they have enough training? Do they have enough equipment? Maybe we were a little bit naive.
In terms of public order, because like he said, they don't have the history that some other countries do have in this area. Peter, can I ask you just one other question before we go, which is about the stabbing that seems to have been this kind of spark that sent this tinderbox off. I mean, part of the discussion that happened immediately after the stabbing was the fact that it was assumed, or it was rumoured, or it was confirmed that the person who attacked these primary school children was not was an immigrant of some kind, and there was an anti-immigration backlash to that. But as the reports kind of went on over the day, it became apparent that one of the first people on the scene that helped restrain him was a Brazilian Uber Eats cyclist that flew in to help. I saw a witness statement from a real kind of Dublin, I didn't catch her name, a real kind of Dublin Irish mammy who was saying that her and an American woman helped screen off the rest of the children from the guy when others were trying to kind of put him down. And it does seem as if there is a real question about the debate to be had on immigration in Ireland, but that actually the people that came to the aid here were people who were not native Dubliners particularly.
Yeah, well, as the capital city of the Republic of Ireland, Dublin, is the most multicultural and ethnically and religiously mixed part of Ireland, and there's been a real growth in the culture and in the influences in Dublin across the last generation. Yes, across the last 10 years, like everyone else, we've seen more people coming to the country, especially as part of the EU. But that's mostly been a positive. The issue now is that those people who don't agree with that, will, if you like, jump on any and every cause and any and every example. Like, we understand that the gentleman who's a person of interest to Gardaí at the moment, has been in Ireland for more than 20 years and has Irish citizenship. But again, it's not the people involved in last night's trouble don't let the facts get in the way of their own opinions.